Hi guys, I wanted to use the new March Simon Says stamp card kit and kind of walk you guys through my process in choosing what I'm going to do with it, because obviously there's amazing supplies, nice new stamp to use, new papers, and what are you going to do with those things? So the first thing that I do really is I look at all of the different colors of cardstock available, and this had this pretty gray and the bright yellows I really liked, and I think this is really kind of perfect for a thank you card or a friend card. You've been on my mind, I really liked. And then it also came with all of the journaling cards, and so I wanted to kind of do something that was somewhat scrapbook in nature. And then looking at the pattern papers, I really love these dots, so I wanted to do something a little bit different in size and scale. And this is a 4x4 square card with a 3.5 inch square um, uh, overlay card. Basically, your actual piece of artwork that's going to sit on top, so that it almost feels like it's going to be framed. And then what I like to do is really kind of do the color palette first. And with the Simon Says card kits, most of the color palette's really been determined, so you can kind of see that it's black, grays, yellows, and the papers. I usually try to pick the papers that I like the best. I love dots, so I'm gonna use this yellow dotted. And then I thought that this was really, I love the scripts, everything that's kind of happening with the scripts. It might be a little too big for this card, but I like the theme of Let the Beauty In, so I might trim this down and use this as well. So thinking about that and kind of getting started laying some things out and moving them around, and then I got the idea of actually punching out, you can see these, just some little flowers with a flower punch and doing something like that. So maybe doing more of a different kind of scrapbook layout with this idea of letting the beauty in. I'm really liking playing with lots of layering lately. And so one of the things that I wanted to do was incorporate more elements in this card than maybe I have in the past. And I really also like the idea of using these flowers and doing them in embossed black on top of the pattern paper, and maybe doing layering with the flowers and some of the bright yellow. So I will show you kind of how this whole thing progresses as we go along, and hopefully you'll get some clues about kind of how I like to work, and how you might kind of just be creative with the supplies that are given you. Let things just kind of happen. An even smaller square of the dotted pattern paper, and that's going to kind of sit inside my cream panel that's going to go on top of the gray fog. And I think now I'm going to actually see if I want to use this. This feels a little bit big, so I think we'll go with something from the stamp set as far as our sentiment and some more layering goes. I think I'm going to cut a tag out of this, about a 1.5 inch, almost 1 3/4 inch strip of the bright yellow here. And then I'm going to look at the different sentiments that might fit into my little layout here. I'd like to make that a little banner, so I need to think carefully about how that's going to fit on this small size. Maybe this would be better, thank you. Or I could actually use this and stack this and do Hope Happy You're My Friend in a stacked layout instead of a very long sentiment, which would be great for another card. I like Just Friend too. That could be really nice. Let's go with that. In this instance, I'm actually going to stamp the sentiment first because I'm going to emboss it onto this tag, and I want to have an idea of the size of this little banner and how much room I'm going to have to play around with around it. So you can see I'm going to kind of position that, and that looks really good. I'm going to take some Simon Says Stamp black ink. And this stamp actually hasn't been tempered yet, so I'm going to take a little piece of scrap paper. And with brand new stamps, it's always good to actually try them out. You can look at how the ink presses. This is a beautiful quality stamp. You can see how smooth the ink is. That's Simon Says Stamp black dye ink. But now that it's been tempered, we should be able to get a really nice impression. So I'm going to put this all the way out here so that I can cut that banner here. And then cut from the outside edges to that little pencil mark. And then erase my little mark. And then I want to arrange the stamps that we have here and the flowers and how that will kind of work around the card. And so I'm going to take a bigger block that's actually bigger than the area that I'm going to be stamping, and just lay your stamps in and think about how you really would like them to kind of be in here. The elements here, I'm gonna take those and Versamark them up. Can't see them here, but I have this new Ranger Black Sparkle embossing powder, and it might be really perfect for this card. You can see this in the light. It has this kind of shimmer to it, as well as giving a really nice dark black impression. I didn't get a lot of embossing powder in here, but I'm going to fill that in with a little bit of black marker, and it'll be just fine. That looks really great. 2 layers of that black sparkle is really cool. You'll have to try that out. I fussy cut this all around, and you know, one of the nice things about actually spending the time cutting the pieces out is that you don't have that white area from a die. So what I like to do after I cut them out, though, is actually take a pen, and in this case I'm going to take a little gel pen and color in the edges so it's all really nice and black. So first I'm going to put down my dots. I know I'm going to have something in that right bottom corner, so I'm actually going to turn my smudge marks that direction, so I make sure that I cover that up. And then I think that I actually want the banner to be flat because I'm going to have so many other dimensional items here. So I'm going to put my banner on. That's great. And then I wanted to give these little petals, these other little flowers, a little more shape. So I just kind of was folding their little edges up and down and bending them so they didn't feel so perfect. And you can see they make like a nice little cup when you do that. I like this dark gray one too for contrast. This one and the yellow one. So now that we have everything mostly adhered to our panel, I'm going to glue that down. And then this is the liquid pearls that came with the kit. And I think just doing a little bit of dimensional that's pretty nice. I'm really happy with that. That is great. So we'll wait for that liquid pearls to dry. It does take a little while, but you can see up close how pretty that is, and pretty simple. And then I think on the inside, once that's dry, I didn't think to do this beforehand, but I think it might be nice to add the other sentiment from the stamp set, the You've Been on My Mind. And I will take the black ink again. Carefully without messing up my cover. Got that